there was no safeguarding, and actually that school was a hotspot for grooming because like 3 or 4 other
It wasn't
girls
just
were
her.
targeted.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, I can't understand how people don't look at the facts and see that this government are whatless.
Whatless is the correct word.
But we're very neutral.
Welcome back to Untold, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Love being back here. As you all know, obviously, my name's Shreeya.
It's the coffee.
Why are you screaming?
Is this real?
Have you had coffee as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
This is me.
is chai latte?
Chai is without coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
hope
have
so.
chai as well.
Yeah, chai just means tea. In Hindi.
Yeah. People say chai tea, but they're just saying tea.
Tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Anyway.
Nepalese, it's Gia.
Gia.
Represent. Okay.
Oh, I'm
Anyways.
Serena.
Hi, my name's Nieema.
Hi, my name is Symiah.
And welcome back.
I could do it.
To Untold. Okay. So, guys, how have we all been?
I'm hella tired. I can't
So
lie.
tired.
We're
So
all tired?
Yeah.
I'm hella tired. I feel like I've had basically not enough sleep for the past 2 weeks. And I don't think it's going to change. Sorry, is there an echo? Is it just me?
It's just you.
A little
mad.
bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's very
where's
minor.
the echo coming
Yeah.
from?
Only Serena.
Yeah. Can you... I can hear it.
Can you hear the echo? I can't hear the echo.
Wait, go
I
again.
can't hear the echo.
Can you hear the echo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
when you
yeah,
go
yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Hello.
Not Shreeya's though. Unless Niema's. Okay. Say it again.
Hello.
No, it's just
Try
you two.
yours.
Hello.
You
That
have
has
one
an
too.
echo, bruv. That's got the biggest echo of all.
Okay, I
Should
won't
I
talk.
check your mic?
No, it's actually fine.
I won't
feel like
talk
it's
to you.
not a bad thing.
It's probably that we weren't talking into the mic before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're all tired. What else?
What were you saying about it's not going to change? Why?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm just used to...
Oh, you're just perpetually tired.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you
No,
were
it's
saying
getting,
like
it's
life
getting
is.
worse.
I thought you were saying like life is so busy that you're not going to get enough sleep over the next few weeks. Oh,
No,
you're just
no matter how much sleep I get, I'll
You're
continue
tired.
to be tired.
Serena woke up at 5:45 today.
I did.
And I was so confused.
Because you said you were waking up at 6, so we couldn't both wake up at 6 and get ready.
I woke up at 7.
Yeah.
I lied.
So you woke up at 5 so she could wake
I
up at
just
7.
realised it took me
Yeah.
longer to get here than you guys because I didn't drive.
How long was it? An hour?
An hour and like 35 minutes.
I won't even tell
Wow.
you.
How long did it take you?
Yeah, I woke up at 4:30.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah. I'm dying inside. I'm dying inside. I was on the coach by
It's all
5:30.
mad.
I rushed out the
But I'm
house.
told.
No
Give
wonder.
her a
Rush
round
out
of
the house.
applause. This is fantastic.
I'll crash later on
Secret
What time
today.
did you wait? You haven't
Guys, you
slept?
better be subscribing and following and bringing
Yeah.
us some moolah because
Niema's on zero
see
sleep.
this commitment.
I had maybe like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I woke up at 7.
That's a nap, Nieema.
Yeah.
The 2.5 hours
An
is not
excessive
sleep.
nap. But that's standard,
Yeah.
you know, when there's a lot going on. But it's okay. I'm going to sleep when I get home. Like, sleep.
Do you have any plans in the evening? Do you
No.
have any plans in the evening?
I have no plans. And I said no to someone this week. It feels good.
I'm so proud.
Thank
It's
you
needed.
so much.
It's needed.
Thank you.
I
Thank
started
you.
When
saying
was
no
the
this
last
year.
time you said no, Nieema?
This week.
And the time before that?
Um,
When you were 4?
What did you say no to?
it was actually to go to Reading and go somewhere.
Makes sense.
And I was just
I'd say
like,
no to.
funnily enough, I was in Reading last week and I'm going to be in Reading next weekend and the weekend after that. So no, thank you.
Why are you in Reading next weekend?
Oh, to watch Malachi's basketball.
Oh, okay.
And also it's Mother's Day.
I keep
You
forgetting.
don't...
I keep forgetting.
Obviously, when this comes out, Mother's Day might have already
Yeah.
passed. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Forgot about that.
Cut
the cameras.
Dead ass. Yeah, and then obviously we've got our International Women's Day event. So
Which
This
also
is-
would have passed by the time this
Yeah.
comes out.
But, yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed.
Hope you all came and painted.
it was a beautiful event.
It
Yeah.
was. Great turnout. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah.
We're now sponsored by the government, guys. This is actually...
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
Speaking of the government, that leads me very nicely.
Perfect.
Very nice segue
They're amazing, by the way. Just
into immigration.
So great.
Oh yeah. It's apolitical.
Yeah.
I forgot.
None of the views mentioned here today are Symiah's.
I actually forgot. I was like, why is she saying they're amazing?
No.
Yeah.
They're neutral. They're
they-
neither amazing nor bad.
Yeah.
There's no opinion on
There's
them
no
whatsoever.
opinion.
No opinion.
But for those, actually, I've just applied for my British passport, so hopefully by the time it comes out, I'll be a citizen. But oh, what a journey it's been. I feel like I've been trying to get these papers for like years. 11 years to be exact. So
That's
it's been.
so wild.
Yeah, no, it's expensive. Like I want you guys. Let's go around the room and guess how much money I've spent on just the application, and then we'll do lawyers separately.
I know it's a dirty amount, so
So if you just
I
had
want
to
to say
guess.
like
Across over the last 11 and a half years.
20k.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say 80, but now I'm like, is that too much?
I don't know.
Just on the application. No, it wouldn't be 80.
Oh, no,
Application alone, I would have said 10.
Okay,
10K.
yeah.
But I know it's
10
not,
to
it wasn't
30.
just you.
Yeah.
Like, it's you and your family.
Yeah, it was closer. I think
So-
I would argue like closer to 20, 25, 26, yeah.
Yeah.
So under 30, but
For
more
the
than
family or for you?
No, just for me.
Right.
Just for me, yeah.
That's crazy.
Like 20 including like all the, every single time you apply, yeah. Including lawyers. That's where the dirty man comes in. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's already dirty. Like 27k
Yeah.
is a lot.
It's a
Let alone
lot.
with the lawyers. Yeah, it's peak.
So it's even like inaccessible to begin with. So you know when people are like, well, you can take legal action, there is only so much money that these legal aid companies have that can do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like if even if you're a child, by the way, even if you're a minor, there's still only a certain amount of money. And the gap, like let's say you're an adult, you'd have to pay, let's say 1,300. If you're a minor, you're paying 1,000 maybe. So it's not even
not a
that
big
much of a
difference.
difference
Yeah.
at all. So someone has to fund it. And you're fighting with, let's say the Home Office. They're not going to be the one funding it. So it kind of depends on charities and stuff like that. So actually it's not that accessible to begin with, like monetarily. And it goes up every April, right? That's number one. Number two, the laws are so convoluted anyway. So actually, if you are an expat, as they say, the rich people's immigration, all you have to do is buy a property here and you're given citizenship, like, very easily. So around, like, I think you have to invest around between 200k to 300k. So you can literally buy yourself
A passport.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
passport.
yeah.
So the issue isn't actually even like, so I don't know how much you guys know, so stop me and like please chip in, but just like some myths that people have is that, well, immigrants are going to come here, like asylum seekers are going to come here and they're going to benefit from the benefit system and the welfare system. You literally cannot claim benefits until you have indefinite leave to remain, which for normal, so outside of the asylum system, it takes 10 years to get that minimum, right? If you're a child, 7 years, but 10 to 7 years, right? So actually, what you have is immigrants come here, people come here and then they're working, so they're paying tax, so the state is gaining from it. They can't claim benefits because the state won't allow it.
Yeah.
They can't vote, so they can't even have a say on what kind of legislation is being made to make their lives easier or harder. So, and they now pay, you now have to pay like around 1,500, I think it was 1,500 last I checked, NHS fee for every application anyway. So even the healthcare, it's not,
Okay.
So it's not, even the healthcare point actually, they've looked at. So for the past few years, you've had to do that. So realistically, what you actually have is a state benefiting from immigration as a whole, especially those that they rely on for labour and the actual manpower, like construction, healthcare, like things without which the country would be at a standstill. And then they've villainized it. So it's worrying. It's ridiculous. And it's frankly inhumane.
It's a massive distraction,
Yeah.
really, because the whole world's in crisis and they need someone to blame. Instead of blaming themselves, they're like, blame immigrants. And this has been like the trend from day one.
You
They're
know,
like,
look how they've suffered since Brexit. Look
Yeah.
how, like, things have gone to shit, basically.
Yeah, but
Someone tweeted out their like energy bill, and they were like, their energy bill was like over £450, and trust me, I can relate. And they were like, oh, somehow they were blaming the immigrants.
Yeah.
They were like, get the immigrants out, and I'm like, sorry, what's that? What's your energy bill got to do with people in some of the worst like scenarios in their life coming here for asylum or coming here as refugees? What has
different.
What has that got to do with your personal energy bill? Go speak to the energy companies, bruv. Like, I don't understand.
Literally.
And it's like what you said. It's like people are going through their own sort of like hardships, and it's like the easiest thing to do is to punch down.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous. Like, I hate it so
I think
much.
people have made way for a particular scapegoat, a particular category to be a scapegoat for the problems that they've created. I'm not saying who.
You're saying people. I was gonna say like say their name, fam. I feel like it's.
Yeah.
I feel like people's vim towards it or energy towards it is obviously coming from a certain place. It's obviously coming from the people in power.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, stop the boats is crazy.
That was
That
what?
what?
Yeah.
That's
mad
their slogan.
I didn't realise that was the slogan.
And they have 450.
That's
They're spending
crazy.
450 million to like basically stop that happening. Do you know how much money you can actually
wow.
put that? And do you know what's absolutely ridiculous about this? Who do you think is helping fund the war?
Yeah.
Right. That's the most ridiculous part. If you look at geopolitics as a whole, like without getting into it too much, it's like who are America's biggest allies? Like, who's actually funding these situations that are causing these civilians to have to flee? Like, no one just ups and says, let me get on the boat. And you know what's crazy, though? This is what's absolutely mind-baffling is the difference in how refugees from Ukraine were treated and the Ukraine war were treated to how refugees have been treated for years and years and years. And then you look at...
yeah.
It's called racism.
I was gonna say that as well. They're
Racist.
also like a lot of them are actually also racist. Because I
that's
watched
the
this
thing.
video and someone had come and was like saying how uncomfortable they felt in the multicultural society that England is. So they moved into a town. I can't remember where it was.
I think it was somewhere in
And
Birmingham, wasn't it?
Something like that. And they were like,
Yeah.
oh, there's like basically the person was saying like there's too
too
many Muslims around. There's too many black people around, and they felt really uncomfortable. And it's taken them a lot of time to adjust to the
And
fact
the Ukrainians that are going to America have been saying the same thing. Because I've been seeing Americans also
Yeah.
saying the same thing. And
But this is the
ridiculous.
point. So even in war, racism is still rife.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
said we'll keep up the
Yeah.
spirit. But it comes from the top. So let's look at Rishi Sunak and let's look at Suella
Braverman.
Braverman. I can't remember last name. Thank you. But either way, their heritage is Kenyan Indian, right? Whatever. So, but the reason why they were able to immigrate to the UK was because of like Kenya basically said either pick the Kenyan passport or get out, basically, right? So they were going through that whole movement. So you've actually, the reason why you were able to come in legally was because the champion of colonization was Britain. So it's ridiculous to be like, well, you know, I've done this, I've come the legal route, because it didn't cost you money.
Yeah.
Like, it's from a place of privilege.
100%
And
from a
then-
place of privilege.
So like Home Office is clearly funded by the people that you're trying to kick out. Like, you literally, like, asylum seekers get, I think it's like £5.50 or £35 a week, right? For everything, and they can't work. So no one would pick that life if there was another
That's the
alternative.
alternative. Yeah.
I would get it if they were being, you know, put up in like 5-star hotels and they were like all expense paid trip. No one's it's not that at all. £35, that's £5 a day. With this inflation, if you actually
It's
look
crazy. You can't
That's
get
not even a
anything
bus
with
ticket.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you can't do
can't.
anything. Not even the meal deal,
No.
fam.
Not even, yeah, Tesco's meal deal.
And even if it's-
£3.90.
Yeah.
and even if you say you want to work, you can't.
Yeah.
And that's extremely sad. So I think it's so easy to villainize people, but actually we just, even educating people is so difficult because, like you said, when everybody's struggling anyway, if the people at every level of government are pointing their fingers at a certain demographic,
and it's all being reinforced
and
by
it's
the
being
media.
reinforced,
Yeah.
and actually even like political literacy is not something that's even taught, encouraged at any level, then it's easy for you to be like, yes, it is crap. A few years ago, and they're spouting numbers at you like we've reached this amount of immigrants, blah blah blah. The education system would crash without international students. So when it benefits,
Yeah, it's classist.
very
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
because international students, again, it's not the same the people that are having to struggle to stay in this country are not the same class as those that are coming here for international
No.
Yeah.
education either. Like,
They're rich.
like I paid 18K a year.
Balling.
Yeah.
Like that's even on the lower end. Like I know at Oxford it's even close to 40,000 a year.
A year.
A year, yeah.
Did you hear
So
me
it depends on the
Beverly?
degree.
Yeah,
So
I know, but I didn't know it was that much.
I
That's
couldn't even
crazy.
have done really. I don't even think like my mum could have afforded for me to do medicine anyway, because medicine would have been, I think, the first
5
3
years.
years at 30K. The year 4 and 5 are 45 to 50K. So they step it up.
Wow.
It is
Yeah.
I
wild.
just can't imagine.
Yeah. And again, like, you know, so again, I was in a very, very lucky and privileged position that I could still continue my education, like, through self-funded means. But there's so many people that can't do that. So actually, they've lived in this country for, let's say, 9 years of their life or 8 years of their life, whatever. But because they don't have the indefinite leave to remain or, like, the British passport, they literally cannot access student funding, despite their parents having paid tax for 10 plus years as well. So yeah, it's terrible. And then they've had to pause their education, and then you've had situations where like people are being deported when they were born in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Look at Windrush.
Yeah.
Literally.
It happens so much. So often.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is, but I genuinely do feel like we need to be more passionate and empowered to like act on it. Like, it can't be on a case by case basis. It can't be when you've got names to it. It needs to be like, actually, anytime you hear misinformation about some things, even if it is in your community, in your family, in like your close friends, you have to correct it. Because the chance that maybe it's a lot of it stems from a lot of ignorance.
It is, I think. Yeah.
Ignorance and also hatred.
Yeah.
I just can't fathom seeing. In fact, actually, I think ZeZe done a documentary about, it was called like Young Black and Right Wing, and a section of the documentary, she went to like some of the docs where people were like coming through, and she was like, I actually feel quite emotional. I'm surprised that I felt emotional. I was like, and in my head, I'm thinking, no disrespect to ZeZe, but like, why are you surprised that people fleeing from some of the worst conditions in their lives is like an emotional thing? Like, I don't understand. And I think for me, that's really scary, and that goes to show just how dehumanized they are to the masses.
But also, they're just not thought about either until it's like on the news, and then when you're seeing it on the news, you're seeing it like from one angle only. Like, you don't really hear from their side how it is,
I think,
unless.
And it was such a stark contrast to how much we should care about what's going on in Ukraine, and it's almost like it's almost become like a political what's the word I'm looking for? Just like, if you don't have a stance on Ukraine, then you're evil, sort of thing. And it's like become competitive between the politicians. Like, Keir Starmer's got something to say about Ukraine, Rishi's got something to say about Ukraine, and everyone has to be super compassionate. And obviously, anyone going through war is awful, but the same sort of reaction and attitudes are not afforded to black and brown people.
No.
And apparently, if I say that, I'm playing the race cards.
Yeah. It's
what?
But this is my point. Do you know how flippin' cheeky it is for France and Great Britain, the biggest colonizers, to be the one to say you can't come into our country?
It's like, it's ironic.
It's ridiculous.
No, it's laughable.
It actually is. If you don't laugh, you'll scream.
Yeah, it makes you two. So GB literally pillaged most of Asia, France, all of Africa. And you're saying to the same people,
don't come
here, please. Like, it's
not even
no,
please.
don't come.
And do you know what's ridiculous? That they created a lot of like for example, anti-gay laws especially in Asia, so South Asia. Britain were the reason.
No, they brought misogyny. They brought misogyny to Africa. They did, and they did. They've just brought hatred to the world.
And then the Crusades.
export.
That's literally it. And then, like, for example, like anti-gay laws and a lot of anti-queer laws, UK started, like Great Britain as a colony started in a lot of like South Asia. And now when they're persecuted, you can't turn around and say, you can't come here. So even I just think it's terrible, which is why I think the way like you have to go about it is when you see these stories, I just think people have like, it's so easy to be like, well, this is just a group, like asylum seekers or, refugees. But if you think about it, do you know how many stories, how many mothers, fathers, just people with their own lives. Like, no one does this unless they have to.
Yeah.
Like, outside of any political agenda, how is that not being understood? And the whole, like, even the conditions that children are being kept in, like young children that don't even know, like they had no choice even in whether they got on the boat or not. No one puts their child on a boat.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they just send the child in hope for them to find a better life, and they don't have
no one does that unless literally the unknown water, by the way, in a little dinghy, like it's not
safer
than wherever they are in their own arms. You know what I mean? So it's just
cannot think. They act as if like the way they portray it is as if like, oh, they're coming here for like a cheeky holiday, or like but they also know that they're not coming here. They're not coming here. And they're not going to be coming here to be rich. They're not coming here to be upper class. They're coming here to just
survive.
Literally just survive what they've just been going through. So I don't understand. I think in the media they portray it like they're just trying to get a free ride.
Yeah,
but even if they come here, it's not going to be easy. But they have to get out of their situation.
I think the media is really dangerous in the propaganda. And obviously Gary Lineker commented on it and said the language that is being used is not too dissimilar to the language that was being used in 1930s Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they suspended him for saying that. And I just think it's really interesting because what did he say that was wrong?
No, nothing.
Because I saw a like-for-like contrast, and every single tick that like, you know, we all did Nazi Germany in history, right? All the ticks that like, it's like, okay, could have been avoided at any point. It's all leading up to the same thing. And I think what they've done really, really well is look at the figureheads of power. It's like, well, if they look like us, if they look like them, and they're the one telling us.
It's ridiculous though.
Yes.
Which is why
they're not for us.
They're
not for the people.
Oh my God. And then respectability.
Yeah.
Politics is actually bullshit. Like, honest, that's one thing that really grinds my gears. I'm like, that's why intersectionality matters so much.
But the thing is, this is how the UK's run, and is going to continue to run. They've always, from the start, the UK has, from the beginning, used humans. This is slavery 2.0, really, what is going on here. They are very much involved in the movement of these people to this country. They know what's going on. They need it to survive as a country. And then they also need the people in the country to feel angry about the situation and the asylum seekers, because that distracts them from the shitty conditions that the current government's put them in.
Yeah.
This is not... The movement of the people is done by people very powerful. And then they turn around and say to the working class people in the UK, the white working class people in the UK, especially, they're the problem.
Yeah.
And really and truly, it's masterminded by people behind the scenes.
And if we want to really see how well it works, is if we just look at Brexit. Like, and I understand, I can honestly understand why they would genuinely believe, like, why they bought into Islamophobia. Because imagine someone, like, especially in more far north, right, you have like their mortality rate is much higher than the south anyway. Their times of like waiting for GP, like one of my friends, she's having her next appointment is 8 weeks away.
Mad.
I tried to register for a GP and I got aired, so I just kept it moving.
Yeah. That's even in the south, right? So further north.
Maybe go there.
I gave up.
Blue ticks.
Yeah. Further north, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So imagine if now you're struggling through all of that anyway. You're going through, like, you know, you're literally struggling to survive. You've got a family, and then someone's telling you, actually, if we stop the immigrants from coming in, that's what Brexit will do. And the immigrants that they were picturing, the faces, best believe Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage, the faces of immigration wasn't
Ukrainians.
white. Yeah, it wasn't Caucasian, right? It was very much Muslim and brown. Or the Brexit wouldn't have stopped that anyway, because
it's not relevant.
In Europe.
Yeah.
With Europeans.
Isn't that mad? And now Ukraine's going to war and they say, yeah, bring the Europeans over, bring them over.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. It's scary, but I think it's a contrast truth to what actually is. Like, no one in government, they know all this though. Like, I think this is because there's no way Rishi Sunak, like, you know, went to the top university, did PPE, at university and then not know all of
they
this.
understand everything.
Yeah,
but
so,
it
but it benefits
them.
them.
And we've seen that with Matt Hancock's WhatsApp leaks. They
Yeah.
100% understand everything. They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're
and they know the people don't.
Yeah,
like,
they're
majority
slimy,
of people won't understand.
shady, slivery, snaky, disgusting people.
On that note,
with the alliteration.
Symiah does not agree. Symiah likes to remain neutral and dissociate from anything Nieema said.
I do I heard this week someone say history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes.
Yeah.
And I thought that's so true. Like, okay, cool, it's not going to be exactly the same. But for me, I find it very interesting that people have such strong opinions about things like South African apartheid, about things like Nazi Germany.
And say nothing about Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, and say nothing about Israel and Palestine. Say nothing about how we're looking at refugees and asylum seekers that are coming here. And I saw like David Baddiel tweet, and he said something along the lines of people comparing the situation of how immigrants are being treated in the UK to Nazi Germany. I don't think you realise what you're saying is that Jewish people weren't citizens. And I thought it's really interesting. So what you're saying, where my mind went was like, so are you saying that had Hitler treated immigrants like that, that would have been okay? Because I don't understand. I don't understand what your point. Like, what is your point?
He was trying to justify it by saying, well, at least the Jewish community were citizens of the country, but a lot of them. He doesn't
realise he's showing his ass.
Yeah, no, really, a lot of them migrated there, so it's exactly the same situation.
It's so ridiculous.
What we've got here.
We're human beings, bruv. Like, I don't understand.
But first thing Hitler did was say, they're not German though. He
exactly.
He made a whole subsection of subspecies. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what David Baddiel's point was. So he's saying it's not the same as how the UK are treating asylum seekers and refugees.
Because he's saying that they're not citizens in the first place, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but you do, like, according to the actual Geneva Convention, no person can be stateless. So if they can't remain in their state.
I mean,
but then look at
what
Shemima.
Yeah. That one's wild to me. I think
that's a mad precedent.
If there was any scary news in the last 10 years, that was the most scariest to me.
Agree.
That was the most scariest news I've ever heard. And they've shown us countless of times how they value us. And that was another example of what they would do if we don't provide money for the country, or we don't look like them. And even with this whole asylum situation, it's exactly the same thing. It's placing value on the person. So they will take in a blonde child from Ukraine with no problems, and actually even pay you to have them in the house.
So true.
And then for, again, a black or brown child, they're like, they shouldn't
for
be
a war that they've
them.
created.
Yeah.
And they're trying
That's
to
the
they're trying to get involved in
You're
as well.
responsible.
Trying to send troops. That's mad.
I don't even think there's any point trying to speak to people that won't listen. So all I'm going to say is to black and brown people out there, know how they value you. That's all I'm going to say. They made it clear what they think.
Yeah.
So know that.
And I think it's really important that we do have more solidarity, because the way that certain black and brown people responded to I always say her name wrong because you say it different to me, and I'm like, am I saying it wrong? Because I say Shemima, but Shamima.
I don't know. I thought
Shamina Begum.
Shamima.
I've saying Shemima as well.
I've been saying Shemima.
Shamima Begum. The way that black and brown people were responding, it was so terrifying to me, because I just expected more, not from people like Rishi and Kemi and all those sorts of people, but from the average black and brown person. I wasn't expecting so many people to be like, yeah, like she should go. What do you mean?
I don't think people see the similarities. Like, people basically see their own struggles or their own fights individually. They don't tie it in and be like, oh yeah, we're all kind of fighting the same fight.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, even between like black and Asian communities, there's no.
It's true.
It's not there. Like,
that's
really
so true.
Yeah, not that much.
No,
that's so true.
Mad.
I think our generation.
I think that's what I was gonna say. I'm not talking about the older generation.
I think even our generation. I think we're very
young people who were saying.
Yeah, I think it's even our generation. I don't think we're that unified between races either.
This is so mad, because shout out Aston. They had me deluded to think that we're all in the same boat together.
Yeah, but even,
I don't think people have it in them to care enough as much as they would care for themselves for other people. That's just general, right?
And also,
but I think when it comes,
tribe.
So when it comes to like other people's fight, like for example, let's look at the SARS issue that happened, it's gonna hit Nigerians the most, right? So everyone was like tweeting, everyone was, you know, sharing things at the time, but nobody's really thinking about it now. But Nigerians are still thinking, talking, having panels talking about it, trying to improve things. So I feel like
it's a capacity problem.
That's what it is. You people don't have the capacity to care about everything and everyone's issues and everyone's struggles. Therefore, they're not gonna always empathize.
But I understand not having the capacity, but what I don't understand is being so vehemently against, or in fact being so vehemently for the government making a child of this country who was groomed at 15 years old, who was actually
by one of our allies,
by Canadian people, and then you're really passionately getting behind making that child stateless.
Do you know what it is?
It's called. She even left the country without her passport.
UK problem. That's
UK borders.
Do you know what it's like? It's like if a child goes out of school, you were supposed to take care of the child. The child leaves school, goes and steals from the shop, and then you're saying sorry, they can't come back in. You were the one that let them leave the school. Your duty of care failed them.
The duty of care was failed. There was no safeguarding, and actually that school was a hotspot for grooming because like 3 or 4 other girls were targeted. What are you talking about? Like, I can't understand how people don't look at the facts and see that this government are whatless.
Whatless is the correct word.
But we're very neutral.
Impartial.
But guys,
I've got smoke.
Yeah, I think let us know what you think in the comments below. Obviously, there's a lot to say on these topics, but I think it's important to be having these conversations. So we'll continue another time.
This is such a.
I think we might have to do a longer episode one day.
Yeah, it's not enough that we can fit in the podcast.
It is very difficult, but I think like just it is. You know what we can actually do, and maybe this is something that we'd want to think about further down the line with Untold. But like even just going to like a legal aid, it's eye opening. Because you've realised, like, there are people who've dedicated their life just to fighting the good cause. And actually, maybe if more people even brought awareness to it, like we do for so many diseases, like we do for so many, like, I just feel like maybe something more can happen. Because what you need, really, is this funding and capital thrown at it. Mm-hmm. Even for legislation to take place, you need research in place. So if we had that, maybe in 10, 20 years' time, things will be better. Because it won't be with that. It's a capitalist world, so it won't be without capital.
No, it wouldn't.
So, yeah.
The other thing I just want to add, is that I think that sometimes we forget how much power and influence we have in the UK. The Black and Brown community, like a lot of the UK culture, British culture, stems from us. So we have a lot of power. And if we decide to make a certain stance on things and make it consistent, I think we can make a lot of change.
Consistent being the key, yeah.
Yeah, and working class white people, if they got involved with our fight. Because if we weren't here, you would be the ones that would be suffering the most. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like when people separate themselves from these issues, and it's just like you would be next in line, bruv. So
should we make sure everyone next in line is on the same?
Yeah, let's all be on the same side. Like, we're not in the top 1%. Like, come on, get with the program.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye.